Well, hello there. Hey, fellow Scouters. This is Matt Petrowski here for Scout Tracker Videos. Now, I want to introduce you to this topic. We are going to be talking about your Philmont prep planning, and this one is about duty rosters. All right, so first things first, I want to give credit where credit is due. Now, I had created a video based on my first shakedown hike where we were taking the boys out, getting ready for our first trek to Philmont. I've not been yet to Philmont, but I've done tons of research. In fact, the video that you see right there is a video that I did about my bag and getting ready in the shakedown hike that we were going to do. We're doing a couple more of those prior to our trek. It's 2017 when we're taking it, and that's July. Right now, the month for us is March. Not like it may, yeah, that's right. Not like it matters that much to you, but the information is what's most valuable here, being ready and being prepared. So basically, there was a gentleman that made a video. Actually, there's a number of people that have made videos on YouTube about being prepared for Philmont. Jamie Barnes, thank you very much, sir, had basically recorded their meeting where they were basically telling their scouts what they need to have in terms of being prepared. And Jamie is a lightweight hiker, or likes to go more towards the lighter weight side. We're talking about bags that are less than, hopefully less than 30 or less, I would say. It's very hard at Philmont to get to below 20 pounds, like a 15-pound bag. And once you get down to 10, you're talking ultralight. Those are through hikers. You need some luxuries, and you're not going and doing full all-day hiking at Philmont. So I'm taking a chair and other things like that. Anyway, thank you, Jamie. But this video is about the duty roster. So Jamie posted a comment on my video about the duty roster. And so that led me to this website right here. This is Sid Covington. And you can see right there as I highlight, that's the Capital Area Council, actually. Let me highlight that for you right there. So thank you very much to Sid and the Capital Area Council. Now, what I had done is on one of the comments on my video, I had actually mentioned that I had converted his spreadsheet to a Google Sheet. Now, the difficulty is, you can see right here, if we take a look at this, he has the Philmont 12-day duty roster, and he also has the Philmont 7-day duty roster. Now, he updates them and completes them each time that Philmont releases a new itinerary guide, and that's pretty much March of every year. This is an awesome time saver, at least when it comes to the duty roster. He also does one for the itinerary planning, and he does it via Excel. So as I copy this and put it up on screen here for you to see, there's the full URL. What you can do is you can actually go to the shortened version of this URL, which I'll put that up on screen. That's right there, Sid, excuse me. I keep saying Scott because I see the SC. It's Sid Covington /Philmont, and you're going to find a ton of resources if you go to this website. So I want to give you the heads up here and the credit where credit is due. If you go to this first link that we see right here, this is just full of all kinds of information in terms of Philmont. Some of it is maybe a little outdated, but you can see that they've got their increasing price list here on the page. It's just a ton of useful information. Well, the issue with the requirement when you download this, as we see down at the bottom here, is that it assumes that you have a copy of Microsoft Excel. I do not have a copy of Microsoft Excel, and if you do not, then I highly suggest that you use Google's wonderful Google Apps capability in order to share information. This makes it really nice to be able to share across the lead advisor, assistant scoutmasters, scoutmaster, anybody who needs access. The sharing capabilities within Google Apps is just brilliant. It's wonderful. I also use Google Apps in order to collect information from my scouts. For example, there is a Philmont information form that's required by the lead advisor in order to enter into the portal gateway when you're going to fill out or make your selection of your itineraries. Use Google Forms because it will populate directly into a Google Sheet. Likewise, if you follow these steps, you can get Scott's Excel spreadsheet into Google Sheets, and this duty roster works wonderfully. So stick around because I'll show you how you can actually use it in order to have it automatically fill out your duty roster. So we're going to go to the new menu. We're going to click on that, and we're going to choose a Google Sheet. When we choose the Google Sheet, it'll come up and we've got a brand new blank sheet. Now I do this just because I can name it whatever I want, but when we import, it's going to prompt us to actually replace. So over here on the side, let me open up my window. Here is the duty roster that I had already downloaded right there. And what I do is you go up to the File menu, you choose that, and you simply choose the Import option. Now, when you import this, it's going to give you a prompt, or it's going to say where you want to import from. You're going to choose the Upload, and the Upload is where you're going to go. Once you're there, you can either click and select from your computer. I just, on a Macintosh here, drag this right into here. Now, the great thing as this converts about this particular sheet is he did not use any VBA macros. He has on, if you go to that website from Sid, you'll find an itinerary spreadsheet as well. Extremely comprehensive. In fact, in my opinion, a little bit more than you actually need. I just use a Google form, put all of the different activities, and sort of have users check that, or my scouts check that, like from 1 to 5, whether or not they're interested. I have another video, which I'll link to in the YouTube card. You can take a look at that. It'll convert perfectly. The itinerary one will not, because it uses VBA macros. So when we import this, I'm choosing the Replace Spreadsheet option, because that's going to basically, it's on an empty spreadsheet, so it'll replace the whole thing. Now, as it converts, I always like to understand how things work, and I'm going to give you some insight into that, but this one will convert no problem. There's no VBA macros in this one, and it'll work as expected. The first page is instructions, and when you click on the roster, there are 3 that are showing down here: instructions, roster, and duty roster. The duty roster is the print-off form that you can print off. The roster is where you input all of your data. So as I select that and we zoom out, I'm a software designer, so no offense to Sid, but this is a little bit garish for me. The way that he set this up is you are going to edit everything that is in the green. So the names, you're going to put them in last name, then first name. The most critical stuff is this right here, where you're going to put your expedition number. If you don't already know, and this is your first time to Philmont, it is for me as well, but I've read through the whole guide and every piece of information I could. The first letter is basically the month. The second two numbers are the year of your expedition. So this date will automatically be populated. You can put in your troop or your crew number. Once you are assigned your itinerary, which typically happens in April, you'll be able to input your itinerary number, and of course your trek year as well. Now, what's going to happen is it's going to put all of the different camps that you are at. But the primary purpose of this spreadsheet is this right here: being able to actually assign all of the different duties into your roster: water, stoves and fuel, meal cleanup, site setup, bear bags, and cooking dinner. So I've read through Sid's website, and some of the information that he has on the website promotes that you actually split up your bunk mates. So you have 2 scouts to a tent. And if you split them up so that one is doing the camp setup while the other one is doing maybe the meal prep, having them separate instead of having them both be on the meal means that you get to set up your camp and the meal at the same time. So that is some good advice when it comes to the duty roster. And the great thing about this is it's all automated. Once you've got your assignments of your bunkmates, or I don't know why I'm calling them bunkmates, but whatever it is, and you split them up, this duty roster spreadsheet will just calculate it all out for you. It tells you your totals. We can see that right here where we've got all the totals and how many times each person will be doing things. The other piece of nice advice that was on the web page, and of course you can read the web page, is you need to talk to your scouts and determine whether or not they want to actually include the adults as part of the duty or not. Now, when we did our itinerary planning meeting, we had some scouts that said, no, you're here just to advise, and we want you to not be involved. We want to do the whole thing ourselves. I will say that that was the fewer of the number of scouts that we had that said, wait a second, you're here on this trek with us too. You need to help out. Let's distribute the duties. Ultimately, we have not decided yet what we're going to do in terms of whether the adults are going to be assigned onto the duty roster. That I guess up to you and your crew or your troop and whether or not that's what you want to do. But here's how it works. In the spreadsheet, when you have assigned each person an actual row here, they are assigned a number. So all you do is you take this number and then you populate it into this area right here. So if you note, this goes 1, 2, 3 on the first camp, and then the second camp, it goes 2, 3, 4. So basically all they're doing is shifting it by 1 in terms of assigning those names or those IDs from the person over here. And once you do all that, everything is calculated for you. You go to the duty roster, and then it actually has a printable form that you can print. And the third tip and suggestion is print this out and then laminate it and give each scout a copy of the duty roster. And every day they will know, based on whatever the date is or the camp that they are at, they can see exactly what they're responsible for. So this is a brilliant tool, and I'd like to thank Sid and Jamie for pointing these out. Hopefully this video gets a lot more exposure and basically leads to a lot more people being better prepared for when they go to Philmont. Now, I will say I like to understand how things work. So if you don't know how Google Sheets work or an Excel spreadsheet, I like to understand how things work. So let's go through that just a little bit if you want to hang around. Down here at the bottom, you can see that there are 3 sheets that are showing, but there's more sheets in this whole spreadsheet than just these 3. We've got the instructions, the roster where you enter the data, and the duty roster where it prints from. But over here, you can see this link right here where it says all sheets. When I click on that, you can see that there's a calculator and there is a tables. Now, I happen to convert mine. Here is my version of the spreadsheet. I'm a user interface designer, so I like things to be a little bit more clean. Hopefully, at some point, maybe Sid will allow me to release this. But for now, you're going to have to go to his website, download the spreadsheet, and then be able to actually import it yourself. It'll work just fine. It just won't be formatted like mine is here on screen. I put all of the primary important data up at the top, such as the trek year, the expedition, unit, itinerary, and so forth. It will then tell you your campsite, and then I put all of the names down at the bottom. Everything for me on my copy of the spreadsheet, you edit in white. Same thing, no different, just modified things a little bit differently, made this print a little bit cleaner, especially if you're not using a color printer. But down at the bottom, when we click on all sheets, you can see that it has these additional sheets of calculator, itineraries, and camps. So if for some reason you decide to convert this yourself, put it into Google Drive, and then be able to use it year over year, all you're going to need to do is go to Sid's website, provided he continues to actually update his spreadsheet, and you can copy from an imported Excel spreadsheet and just put in the new itineraries if you're hiking in 2018, 2019, or what have you. You can either get the updated version from Sid if he does that, but if he stops updating it, then you can, of course, copy all of the itinerary information and replace the values within these hidden sheets in your own copy down the road. And I'm just saying that just in case the information becomes no longer available, things disappear on the internet. I don't think that'll happen with their website, but it is here to be used. So I hope this video has helped you out with being prepared, better prepared for your Philmont trek. I know it's helping me out. Big thank you to Jamie, big thank you to Sid, and everyone out there who is helping to contribute. If you have additional information or advice, then please leave it as a comment down below. I've picked up a great number of tips from other people, and also, if this has helped you out, give me a thumbs up. It helps me with getting the video, get more exposure, help more people out. And if you're really interested in continuing videos based on the whole scouting experience, I'm an assistant scoutmaster and also a committee chair. Sometimes do the cub master role. You know how it is, what defaults to you. It's really big help. Give me a subscribe, and I'll keep putting out more videos. All right, this is Matt Petrowski for Scout Tracker. Enjoy, and until the next one, see you later.